Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to tell you something profound and transformative. God will change your life in 24 hours. I know that sounds impossible, but let me remind you, what is impossible for man is more than possible for God. You might be sitting there thinking, how could my life possibly change overnight? Let me tell you this. God is not confined by time, space, or circumstances. He is the creator of the universe, the one who spoke light into existence, the one who breathed life into the lifeless. If you've been waiting for a breakthrough, if you've been praying for a miracle, then this is your moment to prepare. Because when God moves, he does so suddenly. Think about Joseph. One moment, he was in a prison cell. Forgotten, rejected, and seemingly hopeless. But in less than 24 hours, he was standing before Pharaoh, wearing royal robes, second in command over all of Egypt. God didn't need weeks or years to change Joseph's life. He needed one moment. God's power works in ways that defy human logic. But here's the key. You must believe. Faith is the currency of heaven. If you can believe, all things are possible to you. It doesn't matter how big the mountain is in your life. Faith can move it. What do you see when you look at your life right now? Do you see despair, failure, or limitation? It's time to shift your perspective. See through the eyes of faith. Begin to declare that something extraordinary is about to happen. God has already written the script of your life, and it's filled with promises of hope, prosperity, and purpose. But for those promises to manifest, you must be ready. Prepare your heart, align your actions, and position yourself for the blessing. When God shows up, it's sudden, it's undeniable, and it's unstoppable. He can open doors no man can shut. He can heal wounds no doctor can treat. He can restore relationships you thought were broken beyond repair. In the next 24 hours, I want you to dare to believe. God operates on a divine timeline that often seems mysterious to us. We live in a world driven by clocks and schedules, but God's plans transcend human time frames. What may feel like a delay is actually his preparation. The moments of waiting are not wasted. They are periods of alignment and growth. Consider the seasons. They change not because we command them, but because they follow a divine order. In the same way, God's timing is never early and never late. It is always perfect. Perfection. This is the essence of that word. I speak. Sometimes we grow anxious, questioning why our prayers aren't answered immediately or why doors seem closed. But remember, God sees what we cannot. He knows the end from the beginning, and he orchestrates every detail for our good. His timing protects us, matures us, and positions us for his blessings. When the right time comes, no force on earth can stop what he has prepared for you. Waiting on God's timing requires faith, trust, and patience. Faith is the key that unlocks the door to God's promises. It is not just a feeling or a fleeting emotion. It is a confident belief in what God has spoken, even when circumstances suggest otherwise. Faith dares to step out, even when the ground beneath seems shaky, trusting that God's word is unshakable. It bridges the gap between what is and what can be, turning the unseen into reality. It bridges the gap between what is unshakable and what can be. When you have faith, you are not limited by what you see. Faith looks beyond obstacles, challenges, and impossibilities. It sees potential. where others see problems, and opportunities where others see dead ends. The Bible reminds us that without faith it is impossible to please God, because faith is what activates his power in our lives. It is the currency of heaven, the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not yet seen. Faith doesn't just wait passively, it acts. It speaks, moves, and anticipates God's intervention. It says, even if I can't see it, I believe it. This belief draws God's attention and sets his power in motion. Faith isn't dependent on feelings or favorable conditions. It stands firm even in adversity. It invites God to do the extraordinary and makes room for his miracles. When you allow faith to guide you, doors that were once closed begin to open. Walls that seemed insurmountable crumble before you. Faith doesn't eliminate the challenges, but it gives you the strength to overcome them, trusting that God will make a way where there seems to be none. Faith opens the door to the impossible and ushers in the reality of God's limitless power. Life often changes in the blink of an eye, but those who are prepared can embrace the shift with confidence and purpose. Preparation is not just about anticipation. It's about positioning yourself for the opportunities that God is aligning in your favor. When you prepare for a shift, you're telling God, I'm ready for what you're about to do. Think about a farmer. Before the rain comes, the farmer doesn't sit idle. He tills the ground, plants the seeds, and ensures that the soil is ready to receive. In the same way, you must prepare your heart, mind, and spirit for the new season God is bringing. This preparation requires faith, diligence, and expectation. It may mean letting go of old habits, stepping out of your comfort zone, or taking bold steps toward the vision God has placed in your heart. A shift often comes when you least expect it. Like the break of dawn after the longest night, it arrives suddenly and changes everything. But if you are unprepared, you may miss the blessing or be unable to handle the magnitude of what God has in store. Preparation equips you to not only recognize the shift, but also thrive in it. You may not see the full picture, but trust that God is working behind the scenes. Start preparing now, even if the circumstances don't make sense. Strengthen your skills, deepen your relationship with God, and align your actions with his promises. When the shift comes, you'll be ready to walk through the doors he opens and seize the opportunities he provides. God's shifts are always strategic, and your preparation positions you to step into his divine plan with boldness and clarity. God's power knows no limits. It is boundless, infinite, and unmatched. He spoke the universe into existence, stretched out the heavens like a curtain, and set the stars in their places. From the smallest atom to the vastness of galaxies, everything reflects the magnitude of his might. Yet this same power is not distant, it is personal and active in our lives. When you face challenges that seem insurmountable, remember that God is not confined by human logic or natural laws. What seems impossible to man is entirely possible for him. He parted the Red Sea, brought water from a rock, and fed thousands with just a few loaves and fish. These aren't just stories of the past. They are demonstrations of his unlimited ability to intervene in your present circumstances. God's power is not diminished by time or circumstance. The same power that raised Jesus from the dead is at work in you today. It can heal broken hearts, restore shattered relationships, and provide solutions to problems that seem beyond fixing. His power operates in ways we cannot comprehend, often exceeding our expectations and surprising us with outcomes we never imagined. This unlimited power is activated by your faith and trust in him. When you stop relying on your own strength and lean into his, you create space for miracles to happen. No mountain is too high, no valley too low, and no situation too complex for him to handle. In moments of weakness, his power becomes your strength. When you feel like giving up, his power sustains you. When doors are closed, his power opens new ones. Never underestimate what God can do in your life. His power is not only unlimited, it is personal, intentional, and always working for your good. Vision. Before every great victory, there is a vision. Vision is the blueprint of what is to come, the ability to see beyond your current circumstances into the realm of possibility. It is a God-given glimpse of the future that stirs your faith, ignites your passion, and compels you to take action. Without vision, you're like a ship without a compass, drifting aimlessly through life. But with vision, you have direction, purpose, and clarity. Vision allows you to see victory before it manifests. It positions your mind and spirit to align with what God has planned for you. In the Bible, God often gave his people a vision before delivering them a victory. Abraham saw the stars in the sky as a picture of his descendants before they were born. Joseph dreamed of leadership and greatness long before he reached the palace. These visions were not just promises. They were preparations for the victories ahead. Having a vision doesn't mean you won't face challenges. In fact, the greater the vision, the greater the opposition. But the vision gives you the strength to persevere. It reminds you of what lies ahead and fuels your determination to overcome obstacles. Vision is the evidence of God's plans for your life. And it serves as a constant reminder that he is faithful to complete what he has started. To embrace your vision, you must cultivate it. Spend time in prayer, seeking God's guidance and clarity. Write down what he places in your heart and revisit it often. Let the vision shape your decisions, actions, and mindset. Speak it into existence with faith, trusting that God will bring it to pass. Victory doesn't happen by chance. It is a result of faith and intentionality. When you hold onto the vision God has given you, you align yourself with his purpose and power. The vision is the seed and victory is the harvest. Stay focused, stay faithful, and watch as God turns your vision into reality. Obedience is the key that unlocks the door to breakthrough. It is more than following rules. It is a demonstration of trust and submission to God's will. When you choose obedience, you are aligning yourself with God's plan, allowing him to work in your life without hindrance. Obedience positions you for blessings, opens doors that no man can shut, and clears the way for divine intervention. Throughout Scripture, we see that obedience always precedes breakthrough. When God asked Noah to build an ark, it didn't make sense in the natural, but Noah obeyed, and that obedience saved his family and preserved humanity. When Abraham was called to leave his homeland for an unknown destination, his obedience led to a covenant that blessed generations. Even when the Israelites marched around Jericho's walls, their obedience to God's unusual instructions resulted in an incredible victory. Obedience often requires stepping out in faith. Even when you don't fully understand God's plan, it may ask you to move outside your comfort zone, to take risks, or to let go of things you hold dear. It's not always easy, but it is always worth it. God doesn't ask for perfection, he asks for willingness. When you obey, you are telling God, I trust you more than I trust myself. Sometimes obedience may seem small or insignificant, but every act of obedience has the potential to release a breakthrough. Whether it's forgiving someone, stepping out in faith, or simply waiting on God. Your obedience activates his power in your life. It demonstrates your faith and creates an atmosphere of miracles. Breakthroughs often come in ways you least expect, but They are always tied to your willingness to obey. Trust God's voice, follow His guidance, and surrender your will to His. When you do, you'll find that the very thing you've been praying for is already on its way. Obedience may not always be easy, but it will always lead to victory. Expectancy does not depend on current circumstances, but on the unshakable belief that God is bigger than anything you are facing. Even when things seem bleak, your expectation should remain high, because God has the power to change your situation at any moment. Expecting God to move means you acknowledge that He is not bound by time, resources, or human limitations. His power is limitless, and He can make a way when there seems to be no way. Being expectant also means that you are willing to take bold steps in faith. It's not enough to simply hope for change. You must live as if you believe change is coming. This might mean stepping into new opportunities, making preparations, or adjusting your mindset to align with what you believe God will do. Expectancy is an active faith that expects something significant, and it moves you to take action that reflects your belief. No matter where you are on your journey, stay expectant. Be on the lookout for God's hand at work, and keep your spirit ready to receive His blessings. He has a plan for your life, and the best is yet to come. Trust Him, stay expectant, and watch as He does the unimaginable in your life.